Yellow all over the screen. The terrible towel is out. What's going on? You're hiding your face in shame. What's going on?
I don't know what to think. Is it the terrible towel brought power through the draft?
Ooh.
Was it a terrible draft?
Oh, yeah.
Should I be crying because a 40-some-year-old quarterback is holding my team hostage? I don't know. It's a confusing time.
Yeah, it's the best of times.
All I know is the Penguins don't have a losing record in round 2 of the playoffs.
What do all those teams and the Penguins have in common? They're watching the game.
Well, I have to say,
yes,
a lot of Rick Tocchet, former Penguin, won his cups with the Pens. I think Jordan Stahl still plays for the Hurricanes. He was former Penguin, power beast, third line, center. So a lot of Penguins, former Penguins, and ties to Penguins still have stuff going on in the playoffs.
Yeah, it all mixes around. Now the Rick Tocchet feels like he was played earlier. He was drafted by the Flyers in 1983. Sorry, buddy, we had him first. Anyway,
yeah.
So
we had him best.
Then he went to you.
He got his cups. He got his cups.
The best years. That's it. Yep, that's all right. But then he started out in one place, and now he's back doing the deal. So, yeah, no, it's crazy. It's that was fun to see. And then I would do right now, but hey, that's the Flyers way. But yeah, it was interesting. I mean, most attended, and they don't like. Oh, Dom went on Monday, and then Dom goes on Tuesday, so he only counts as one each day. It's you counted as two when they count the numbers. It eclipsed. I forget what they said. There was
the highest so far.
It was the highest, but I forget whether it wasn't Nashville. I thought Nashville was pretty well attended, but it wasn't. It might have been Green Bay. Green Bay may have had the previous record, but no, I thought they did a great job. Yeah, and the whole what's that? They picked up that guy was it Army or
Air Force?
The military went like Air Force, like 7th round or whatever, and he happened to be in the green room. That was awesome. And
he's from Pittsburgh.
And he played high school. He was an All-American, I think. He had records in Pittsburgh, so went from playing there to now playing for the Steelers. And you look at the Dolphins' first pick, like, I don't know,
There's a lot of controversy about that, but I don't know who. I haven't followed because I've been a lot going on, but I know that I've been reading because I do follow some Miami podcasts, and they've been talking about.
Okay, yeah. Oh, okay, interesting.
I love Petard Show, Greg Cody. Listen to those, and they're back and forth on things, and I've done the Pittsburgh. It's an interesting draft, but I don't know how much we'll know this year. We got punked by the Eagles.
Oh my God!
We're on the phone, but then that happened before, and then Jerry Jones was like, "Oh no, we're just wishing Mike McCarthy well. We didn't do that to stick it to him, or because the Steelers did that to us 14 years ago." I don't know. The lineman could be a beast. He's supposed to be really good, but he's raw. The receiver, good, but he's not. We don't have a number one receiver. We have a number one receiver because he's the best receiver on our team, but he's not a number one receiver.
He's number one on the roster, not in the league.
Yeah. We got some really good linemen, but we're moving like a really good tackle to make him a guard. The kid you're talking about, he's an H-back, running back, but we might put him in the slot. So it's like all these moving pieces. When I was a kid, it wasn't a Rubik's Cube, but it was a little flat puzzle with letters or numbers or a picture, and you had to slide it around, and you get them for a penny or a nickel at the store.
Yep.
I mean, that's the Steelers. There's all these moving parts, and it's drafted a quarterback in the 3rd round. But they were saying how good last year's 6th-round pick is a starter in the NFL, but we draft a 3rd. I don't know.
And every year you look at how well the first rounds have gone and who's still in the league. There's a lot of first round bust. And you look at Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, and what he's done. So it's interesting. But I did hear about that they literally was it Lemon that Pittsburgh's on the phone.
Yeah.
We're going to draft you next year. And then Philadelphia's trying to call in and he's they can't get through. And they're submit it anyway. And he's on the phone with Steelers and he's like, My name just got called with the Eagles, guys. Bye. Like,
Yeah. The great was he's like, why is Philadelphia calling me?
yeah, didn't even know.
Well,
Yeah, a lot of good stuff. But yeah, and then that Alabama lineman for Miami, like, X amount of plays, when he's fired up, he's playing. He looks stellar. Then he takes plays off, and so we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. You hope an O-line coach worth his weight and salt can get in there and really work with the guy and change his mentality about things, and then you also hope that this is a job now, buddy.
Yeah,
you don't take plays off in a job like you should. I mean, so and the other thing I was talking to some people, and I said in the NIL deal, college coaches they're not gonna punish you, and you're not gonna receive that $8 million NIL. You're not gonna get any money taken off of there. Well, it's different in the pros, and they're going to control some of the money flow where they can, if he's doing that, whether it be fines, penalties, whatever the case may be. So hopefully it'll be a little bit, but I remember, hey, many moons ago, many grays ago when I was coaching the O-line, I had a kid in high school who had amazing ability, but would take plays off. And he went to college, and I was very concerned how he would do. And he had, he was development for 2 years, and then he had a solid 2 years of playing. And, so you hope that, this kid being at Alabama, like, coming out, he's got all the tools, like, and they can really reach him, and it'd be awesome. But yeah, it's just the psychology of it, the strategy of it is just amazing. And I guess they have a show out. The Schefter podcast was talking about, I guess it's called, I don't know if it's called Draft Day or whatever, but NFL Films mic'd different teams and different people. Yeah. And Adam Schefter from ESPN didn't realize he was fully mic'd. They told him like right before, and they didn't know what they would clip out or clip. And he's like, I look like a lunatic. He's like, he's getting into it, like with multiple phones, the whole deal. But it's interesting, sitting back and hearing all that. So yeah. And for the record, whenever they showed the war rooms, I was looking for Apple products, and just to let you know, there's a lot of Surface products down there. There weren't many Macs.
Well, that's official. That's official for the NFL.
Yeah, because they know.
Yeah, I mean, so they have to have them behind the scenes. That's where you find the Apple. But I think the Steelers were actually using a Surface. That's why they got punked on the draft. Yeah, there's a lag.
They had the spinning wheel of death. It was just rolling. Connection not solid.
Can you hear me now?
Stand and move the bunny ears a little bit with the transmission. We're not getting a clear signal. Oh, that's too good.
This could be it could be a great draft. I don't know.
Yeah.
The one thing, and they were talking about like some of the quarterbacks and stuff. Some of these big name quarterbacks, they're playing with a whole team of NFL players against, and not knocking, because I didn't play college ball, but they're playing against people who are playing college ball, but they're not going to play in the pros. So it's a big difference when you have a team of NFL players playing a very good college team, but they're not necessarily NFL players. And then you go in the NFL and you're playing real NFL players. It's not as easy. And, like they said, the gaps between the receiver and defensive backs aren't there. It's tighter coverage. People are faster. You're not going to outrun. You can outrun a defensive end in college to the corner, but you may not do that in the NFL.
Right.
So, it's interesting to see. And these guys can't take plays off in the NFL, though some have. Some of the former Steelers players have in the past, and they're no longer on the team.
Yeah, oh yeah, every you got that scenario everywhere. But like, so here's the case in point. Like, freshman year, up at Bloom, so I'm playing college football, and it would have been the spring, and we're doing spring ball, and we jokingly called it the Rudy Bowl, and we set it up as it was like all underclassmen versus, and we didn't do starters, we just all underclassmen, so your freshmen, sophomores versus your junior, seniors, and so the freshmen and sophomores, we're sitting in there, and a couple guys that were walking on and trying on for the spring, and we're going around the room. There's like, I don't know, 25 of us, 26 of us, and we're going around the room, and every one of us either played in an all-star game our senior year or made, all county, all division. Division 2, you're not going to get your all-state guys, right? Those are your division 1 guys. But like in their league, they were tops, either first or second. and they were representing their team in an all-star game, and all but one guy. And the one guy who didn't, he was in the military for 5 years, and then came out and wanted to play football. He was a heck of a ball player, but he wasn't really a ball player before that. But that military training coming out, but so even at a Division II level, which was a very Division II in Pennsylvania is pretty solid. Yeah. Even at that level, everybody you're going up against was a all-star player, if not conference player, in their high school. So talk about a level playing field, and then you go with Division I, now you're hitting that higher rank. And that's even and like you're saying, the guys coming out of college going into the pros, there's an element of leveling off. You've got to it's not like back in the day where, Scotty Mitchell sat behind Dan Marino for so many years and then finally got his opportunity and looked amazing. They wanted to stick with Dan, so he went to the Lions. And even Roethlisberger moving up the line. You look at all the different players that paid their dues, and it's just it's a different landscape now. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't, and it's and sometimes you feel like these guys that are getting in there and they're just doing some stuff that making the mistakes, doing the things they shouldn't do. Well, maybe they needed some more time baking in the oven, getting it together before they get put into the spotlight. You know,
and that's happened with some of the picks that Pittsburgh has had. It's some of the picks that we've had have been solid players, but they're not. They didn't get they didn't get a fifth-year option in the first round. They're not busts. They're really good, solid players, but they're not the high impact, multi-million, $10 million players, $15 million players per year. But I want to go back because they were talking on the radio this morning, the one morning show I listened to, and the sports guy was saying Rodgers is their best bet, blah blah blah. What's the big deal whether he shows up or not? And my take is, and a lot of people have this take in Pittsburgh, Franco Harris they cut 1984. Leading, he was number 2 in the NFL in rushing overall history, only behind Jim Brown, and we cut him. He never broke Jim Brown's record because he wanted more money. And the quote from Chuck Noll was, Franco who? Rod Woodson, they let go. Troy Polamalu, they let go. Roethlisberger, they pushed out. Other people they pushed out who had played their entire career with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Rodgers comes in, plays 1 year, and they're letting them drag them. And it's you threw out legends for this franchise and forced them to retire, and you didn't take anything from them. And you're letting this guy who, he's a great quarterback, was a great quarterback. Right. Wasn't great last year. He did okay. He had some high points, but he doesn't have the legacy ties to the team, and you're letting him kind of bully you. That's just bad optics.
Yeah.
I could see one thing if you were consistent and letting the legends stay and all this other stuff, but you didn't. You forced them out. So to me, that's just wrong. But it is what it is. I don't own the team. I have no say over that. But that's my big beat. That's my point with Rodgers is, he doesn't have the ties, and we've forced other people out that could still play better.
Right.
They weren't.
Yeah. It's interesting the different players that are there, the players as in management and their thinking and their train of thought and how that's working. And I don't know. It's always interesting, but what is not holding out is the month of May. And I believe, my school had internet on Monday and we didn't have internet today. So I guess that means it's Tuesday. And are we early in the month or are we mid-month, late month? Where are we at? I think we're the.
I gotta look. Oh wait, it's confusing because it actually started on a Friday last week.
Oh,
so that was the May 1st. Oh, it's May 5th. Oh, using my fountain pen.
Oh,
it was great and stuff when I got the ink on my hand.
There it is. Proof in there. There's 4 digits and a thumb, so that looks like a 5. So Cinco de Mayo. So I think it's time for
PAECT pod.
Let's roll it. Welcome to the PAECT Pod, a show for educators by educators. PAECT is a 100% volunteer-run organization. I focus on educational technology integrations in the classroom in Pennsylvania
and beyond.
Oh, my name is Eric Verno, the past president of PAECT, and with me, as always, I have my co-host
Dom Salvucci. I am the current president of PAECT.
All right, we are celebrating episode 102, Cinco de Mayo, on the pod.
It is a great episode. The first Tuesday in May. It is.
Sure.
We just surpassed mid-grades in our district for the fourth 9 weeks. Woo! Yep. Fourth 9 weeks. Gotta go. That's the rule. My classroom.
That's it, man.
If you're throwing a 4 up, you got to give it the horseman. Woo!
Sure.
Halfway through the fourth 9 weeks, we're wrapping it up. We have Keystones coming up in a couple weeks and field trip. It's all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah, we're currently getting ready for our field trip. We do JA BizTown. Kids are all in businesses, going through learning about graphics, advertisements, setting prices, the whole deal. So that's good. But like I said, I alluded to earlier, it was a bit of a rough snag because when the internet goes bye-bye for the whole building, the whole district, and several schools in our area, it was definitely kind of tough to share some. So I jokingly, one of the younger teachers was walking by my room and I said, we're kicking it old school, we're cranking out some old school lessons without the internet. And then he looked at me and I go, all right, well, I did have to show a couple of videos, so I threw the hotspot on my phone. He started laughing. He goes, I did the same thing. I go, that's not old school. That was not a thing back in the day. Not a thing. So, and it's funny because the kids are like, hey, Mr. Verno, I got to look up this thing. It's okay if I get my Chromebook and I look it up. I'm like, how's that going to work? And they just kind of looked at me. I go, no internet, no Chromebook. And they're like, oh. And so it was kind of a rude awakening for a lot of kids that they're making logos and they wanted the quick Google stuff and get ideas. And they were not able to do any of that. So definitely made it tough. But anyway,
we had a number of years ago, pre-COVID, we got hit with a ransomware attack, and we were not allowed to, like they said, keep your, everything off the network. Don't bring computers in from home. So fortunately, I like the file cabinets of doom, and I have all this content because whenever I started teaching pre-internet, and my dad being a teacher from the 60s into the 70s, it was like, you don't know what you're going to be teaching year to year. You don't know what your budget's going to be. Save your stuff. So I just accumulated file cabinets and content. So kids were like, are we having a study? Like the first day or two, we didn't know what was going on. And like, okay, we'll do study hall and we'll see what's going on. Then we realized this was going to be a while. They're like, more study halls. I'm like, no, we have file cabinet information. And I did a field trip around to the Sal Cave, got the old textbooks that we no longer used. I think they went up to like Jimmy Carter as president. I'm like, okay. I said, old school learning. And we did different activities and stuff. And kids, I says, don't pull your phone out. I said, because that's back when we didn't have one-to-one devices. So I had the iPad, either the iPod touches or the iPads. Says they're offline. I says, don't put your phones on the network because bad things can happen because someone hit us with like really bad stuff. I said, you don't want your phone infected. And we went old school.
Yeah. So, sometimes there's a good need for it, especially getting off the screen a little bit, forcing conversation. So and it's in a math classroom. Again, BizTown's different. If it was just math and stuff going on, no problem whatsoever. We can crank some stuff out. It's all good. So it's wild that all day long, not by the end of the day, still didn't come back. So, and then we even do a shared Google Doc for buses. So then they had to the principal was like, because again, it's a classroom management thing. You got to keep your kids quiet, listen to the buses, write them down, and just had to go on and overly stress because even with them up on the screen, kids being kids and teachers sometimes taking that time to, rest and relax or whatever, and maybe sit back a little bit, and kids missing buses, and so they're like, make sure you are listening. They had to send that all call email. They would have sent it to the teachers do not hit back. But so I always tell them, look at my kids. I go, if any of you missed the bus, I am not taking the fall for you. Okay, you will deal with the consequences. So they just start cracking up. But yeah, so it's wild. But it does change the whole dynamic of the room and what you're doing and stuff. And it's, again, these kids have grown up with having tech so much. So, but yeah, so that made for a wild day. But yeah, and crazy weather. I mean, we started off chilly, the whole deal. Like I've been telling people happy February and May, and it's been insane up and down, and the grass is growing, man. And got the pools almost, got to get it cleaned out now to get everything else all set up. That's going to get ready to go. Is your pool open?
No, this is one of the latest it's been. Last 2 years, we're usually open before the end of April, and the guy that put our pool in for us, he drove up the street and was like, hollered at my wife. He's like, "Take that cover off." I'm like, "No." Like, all I'm gonna do is like, he's like, "You have a heater." It's like, doesn't matter. All I'll be doing is like heating the pool and running the filter, but no one's going to get in because it's on the verge of rain, sleet, almost snow. I don't want to be in the pool in that weather. That's not nice.
Yeah. It's all over. Yeah.
And it's just one more thing, like trying to get the grass cut, and I still don't have my yard fully de-winterized. I still, because the rain and everything, I still have leaves piled up on the deck, and I try and vacuum them off, and more leaves blow around with the wind and the rain, and it's just like, okay, and everything else going on. It's been chaotic, so it's like I'll maintain. I'll get some time and get in there, but it hasn't been good weather for that. Then you get that like 1 or 2 days, and it's like, ooh, and then next day it's. We've had a couple freeze warnings this week.
Yeah. Yep. I know it happens. Like you're like, is my phone working properly? What the heck is that? What is that?
Am I in the right city on WeatherBug?
Yeah. Oh, it must be Alaska. Who knows? They're getting feet of snow over there. We've been watching those reports. Like, I don't know. Would we like it? Wouldn't we like it? But yeah, kind of crazy. So, all right, well, man. Well, listen, it's the crazy time. Grades, classes, the things that are happening. Your high school's getting ready for graduation. The whole deal. I know my daughter's definitely at that point, and you got your daughter getting everything all packed up. She got finals at college. So, let's not drag on the show. Let's kick into some tech news. I'm going to kick off here as soon as my the mouse is acting up on me a little bit here.
Some news and notes. I'm going multifaceted today. But you may go first, because I believe I went first last time.
No, I'll go first here. I was just trying to find it. Here we go. Yep, every so often that mouse lags. So I just wanted to give an update. I know we talked about this a couple pods ago with the Feed Spot podcast. We were featured at 26. So we're now currently at 22 in the list of education technology and Pennsylvania podcast. Forgive me. So we're right below Nittany Blues, Penn State football fan, All Business, Pennsylvania Woodsman. So with all of the Pennsylvania podcasts that are out there, we are currently sitting at 22. So appreciate. We got a 5 out of 5 rating. So you got to like that. 1.1 thousand Facebook hits, 3.2 thousand Twitter hits, and 293 Instagram. Instagram, you go live and then you got to delete it right away. So
yeah,
we're trying to work on getting live on some other platforms, but definitely excited for that. So 22nd, and even looking in the checking out the different education technology podcasts. Some of our friends that we get to hang out with and see at ISTE and stuff, that they're in that mix. So just wanted to share that as part of my tech notes this evening.
Nice.
All right. So we'll tee you up. We got tech notes. Here we go. Ooh, gave you the wrong intro. All right. What do we got?
So I was going through some of my emails. I get, the morning emails on different tech news and things of that nature. This one is intriguing. PA, said intriguing really weird. I apologize for that. PA, there's a growth and a pushback on data centers. They're trying to get a lot of data centers out around Pittsburgh. I know central and eastern PA, same thing. And there's a pushback from people because of fears, noise, things of that nature. Well, this article is interesting. Panthalassa, I believe it is, raised 140 million to power AI at sea. And I was reading the article. Some of the people have different ideas about some of the people involved in this, but it is a pilot to make these data centers out in the ocean, where the ocean power, the salt water, the churning of the ocean will power them. I don't quite understand the science behind it, but they're working on putting these out so the seawater will cool and energize the motion of the ocean, so to speak, will energize these AI data centers. They're going to keep them out of the main shipping lanes and such, and out of the fishing areas. But floating energy systems that are mass produced from plate steel in coastal factories, operating in the distant ocean where they generate clean electricity around the clock. So they use it directly on board to power the AI chips. And they would tie this in with Starlink and other satellites to push the information around that way. So it's interesting. If it is something that's doable,
yeah,
people are afraid of losing farmland. People are, nervous about the noise and energy. If this was something that is a possible solution, that would be great. We'll see how that goes. So that piqued my interest. I saw that article. It was either yesterday or today. So that caught my attention, and I was like, pretty cool. So I thought I'd just push that out there for everybody.
Nice. All right. Okay. And I kicked you off the screen by accident.
That's okay.
All right.
You're up again. Or do you have anything else or no?
No. This is going to be all you now, cranking it out.
Okay.
So
I got a couple of things. Short and sweet because.
And there we go. All right. What do we got next?
So, ditch that textbook. Love that email. Love the Saturday Twitter discussions. 20 end of the year templates to help students thrive. These are all free, by the way. I haven't looked at all of them, but my school year portfolio, my school yearbook, end of the year takeaways, Spotify Wrapped. I love getting the kids to make playlists at the end of the year. My Year in Emojis looks cool. There's some dark arts math listed in here. Reflection templates, what's going on this week. And it's always good. I always have an end of the year reflection for the kids, and I get feedback from them. I think it's big for teachers to good, bad, ugly, indifferent, get feedback from the kids and try and adjust. And the kids appreciate it, especially if you roll it out and you're talking and you reference some of the topics. You don't necessarily put a student, call them out, but if you bring up in the classroom, with that a certain student or a couple students recommended, and you're implementing that, or at least trying to implement it, you could see that they really appreciate that you're actually listening to them. You're not just giving them busy work. So the end of the year reflections are big, but these are different, instead of having them write a paper. And I know there's a big push to go back to pencil and paper, and that is important to mix things up with pencil and paper and tech. But if you want to do a project instead, choice board, you can make a video, make an audio file, make a little presentation, make a poster, either physical or digital, write, and these are different ideas you can incorporate. So this is free from Ditch That Textbook. It was in yesterday's newsletter that went out. Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Well, I will say the Spotify Wrapped, we do that at the end of the year before Christmas break kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. So if you've not done it mid-year, that is a great one to do at the end, because the kids all get into that, listening to Spotify and stuff.
Yeah.
Album cover of the year, what are your top 5 kind of things. So I definitely, that's really cool. I forgot about, Matt and his really cool list there. He's awesome. So yeah, very cool.
Then I've recently become involved with the Northwest PA STEM ecosystem. We have a meeting on Friday. I'm going to that. Check it out. If you are in Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania has a statewide STEM ecosystem, PSSE. A lot of PACT members are involved in this. Take a look at it. A lot of great ideas. Check it out. And last but not least, we are in Remake Learning Days. We had them on the last podcast. Great podcast. Go check it out. A lot of information. It's officially started. We had a soft rollout with the Ed Camp SRU, and it's going full blast. There's all kinds of events. Check out remakelearningdays.org. Search for your region, search for events. There's all kinds of things. I'm going to one Friday here in Elwood City. There's a bunch all around the state and even outside of the state. And there's a lot that are online. So check that out. There's a lot going on. Check out PAECT.org. I know, Eric, you're going to get into that here in a second. So I will let you move on with that. But there's so much going on in the state.
Yeah.
Take a look at things. There's end of the year. It does get hectic, but these are nice little brain breaks. Find creative ideas you could use next year in your classroom. Just go out, decompress, do something fun. You're not leading the lesson, you participate.
Well, hey, listen, so to dovetail, you mentioning about newsletter made me think. So not that I had a lot of tech notes to throw up, I'm going to toss this one out there real quick. We've got our boy, Eric Kurtz, Control Alt Achieve.
Yes.
Great friend, bearded brother from another mother. So I'm going to miss seeing him this summer at ISTE, so make sure you get a selfie with him for me. But he's got this edu gems, and there has been a lot of movement from educators creating these Google Gemini gems. So there's just a whole list of all the ones they have here for educators to use for free. So if you have not checked it out yet, edugems.ai, edugems.ai, something to check out. So just wanted to throw that out there. And then also, I don't know if you've heard, but the tech's listening. And, we've all been there where we've been talking about something in our house, and then all of a sudden it's in our Facebook feed. We see advertisements in Twitter, wherever you might be. Well, Dom, 2 podcasts ago, I don't know if you remember me talking about, hey, when you use Nano Banana, and which is, it's interesting, the origins of that. We'll get into that another pod. I was listening to a podcast from one of the engineers from Google. But when you use that feature, which they call Beautify, my Google Slides, and we talked about how it makes it as a graphic, right? Yeah. And then I said, I got the solution. Download that graphic, copy it, put it into Canva, use the magic layers. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. And it was amazing. We were using it. Well, guess what? They were listening. Because now when you go in, and we've demoed it before, so go look at another pod about taking a slideshow and just doing that, either clicking on the little banana on the left side of your screen, or go ahead and, looking for the Beautify image. And when it creates that new slideshow using AI, it's automatically making things editable, which I knew they would come out eventually, but I'm pretty sure they did it because Google must have been listening to our podcast, man. They must be getting
probably
tips. So they're checking it out. So anyway, so that engineer that listened, I expect about a 10% cut from whatever you got for making that editable. So just trying to.
And I think it was on TikTok that I saw it, but a lot of people Google bought those new Mac Neos, so it's easier for them to work now. They get more accomplished.
Listen, I don't know I have no hate for the Neos. It's going to be interesting, but the power you can get off of a phone chip and what they're able to do, and then the other trick about it is, well, 2 things. You get me geeked out over this. It's the Pro chip. So when you have your iPhone tiers, whatever you want to call them, so your 17 Pro, your 18 Pro, the previous year's Pro chip is what they're using. So it's the mobile chip, but it's their high-powered one. But the thing was that they were in the one that's in there now. I think it was the 16 Pro, where nobody was buying those because of the way there was something that Apple didn't add to it. I forget what it was. It's just a fact that this wasn't given to it, so people were not buying them. So they had a warehouse full of those, and that's what they were using. Oh, Halcott got one. Okay,
nice.
And that's what they were using. All of those chips that were already in a warehouse, so they were able to drop that price down low. And as you always give me a hard time, but my oldest 2 daughters did go get their new iPhones, and when we were in the Apple store, the woman said they sold out of the 2 million they produced, and if they get a skating of 100 and word gets out, it's gone within an hour. Finding one right now, but I'm curious how the pricing because the latest chips aren't not duds, but they're not being utilized. So they had millions of them sitting in a warehouse. Yeah. I'm curious that with chips that are being produced that go into it, what's going to happen with that price. But, and I mean, $5.99 on a student discount. And the closest iPad is like $800. You're spending $1,000 for an iPad anymore. So
yeah,
it's wild. So yeah, I won't knock the Neo. There's your geek back end about the Neo creation there. So all right, and then so Halcott's got one. She went to the dark side. Oh man, all right. The times of her slinging a really bad Surface and a really cranky Chromebook are now out the window. All right, so good stuff there. Anything you're good on the tech note side? So I think we can talk a little bit about what's happening in PACT. What do we think?
Sounds good. There's a lot going on.
There it is. All right, let's pop this up on here now. So here's the thing about with PACT. Right now, May into June is when all of our regions are going to be coming together, and they're going to be loading the queue. They're going to be loading their calendars for the year. So this is one of the best times to get with a group, go out to an event, have that conversation. The students and teachers get the discount. Yeah, they have no way of proving you are or aren't a student, from what I was told with a wink by one of the geniuses at the Apple store. It said you basically tell them that you're a student and you get the discount. But don't believe the social media TikTok things of getting $100 Neo, right? That's not founded. But anyway, so when those calendars are getting loaded, if you have ideas for events, talk to your regional directors, reach out. So we'll get into something on the calendar as far as the month of May goes. Well, we got June, South Central is going to be at the Harrisburg Senators game, 1 p.m. start. So that's going to be cool to get out to the ballpark. All right. And then when we check out the PACT calendar, we had the Canva tasting. I wasn't able to make it. I really wanted to, and I didn't get a chance to be there on the 30th. In the month of May, the gang, we're heading the Southeast region is excited to kick off spring with a trip to Topgolf. So they're going to be in the King of Prussia, cranking out. So $10 for premium members, $25 for free members and guests. It's 2 hours of play, and they will provide appetizers, any other food that you might want, and soft drinks and teas. But any other beverage that you might need for the day, that's on you. We have our board meetings kind of kicking up. And then let's see here if there's anything sparking in June. Harrisburg will be in person in State College in the second week of June. So exciting stuff. So yeah, like I said, right now we're working on really loading up our calendars. So any information that you have, any ideas you have, talk to your regional director. The big thing is, if you have the idea and you're willing to kind of host to be the point person, right? There's no such thing as a bad idea. Reach out. Yeah.
Yeah. And May's always light because you have Remake Learning, and a lot of PACT members are doing the Remake Learning days. They're not official PACT events, but they're run by PACT members, and a lot of PACT members are working or attending those events. So there's no sense reinventing the wheel and competing against each other. So May is always usually pretty light, but then we roll into the summer and get back into the fall. So reach out to your regional directors, give them any ideas you have. If you're willing to help out, as Eric said, please reach out and, let them know. If you have an idea for the pod, reach out to us, pod@paect.org. You want to be on the pod, talk about cool things your kids are doing, let us know.
Yeah, we'd love to have many more members come on the pod and talk about what they're doing in their classrooms because, it's just like I love the rule of ed camp, right? The smartest person in the room is the room. So when we bring on our guests to share about what they're doing, that's what makes PACT and the podcast what it is. So we truly appreciate all the work that you're doing. All right, man. Well, listen, we've talked about having a quick hitter. It's May. It's crazy. Grades, all the stuff going on, beautiful weather. But I think it's time to bid a fond farewell. What do you think?
Yes.
Anything to talk about to round it out?
Take care, everybody. That's pretty much it.
All right. And as always, remember,
PACT, we are
the voice of EdTech in Pennsylvania
and
beyond. All right. Thanks for being here. One of these days, we're going to just nail it. I mean, only 102 episodes. We got a couple more to go, right?
Yeah. It's early. It's early in May.
That's it. Hellcat's thrown out there. We are always looking for amazing sponsors. Hit us up, sponsorships at PAECT.org. All right, here we go.
PAECT and the PAECT pod would like to thank all of our sponsors. Our Tier 3 sponsors, EduSpire, Tech the Next Step. Our Tier 2 sponsors, ClassLink, more time learning, less time logging in. Teachers First. Sam Labs, engaging and effective K-8 STEM and STEAM educational solutions. Lego Education. Toddle, teacher built, AI first, more than an LMS. Once again, PAECT and the PAECT pod would like to thank all of our sponsors for the support that allow us to do what we do. Thank you.